In America's heartland, where the vast fields of soybeans and corn stretch to the horizon, farmers are facing a crisis that threatens their livelihoods and way of life. For generations, their crops have fed not only the United States, but the world, with China as one of their largest and most reliable buyers. Yet a seismic shift is underway. As the United States and China lock horns in an escalating trade war, American farmers find themselves on the losing end, while Brazil and Argentina step in to claim the markets they once dominated. With billions of dollars at stake and entire rural communities hanging in the balance, the soybean story and why it matters. Soybeans have long been one of the United States' most valuable agricultural exports, with China as its biggest customer. The demand from China is huge, driven by its need to feed livestock and produce food for its growing population. U.S. farmers have invested heavily in producing high-quality soybeans, with an established trade relationship with China that has traditionally been steady and lucrative. But all of that is changing. In response to growing tensions, China has reduced its reliance on American soybeans, shifting instead to suppliers in South America, particularly Brazil and Argentina. For American farmers who depend on steady soybean sales, this shift is a serious blow. A soybean farmer in Illinois describes it best. It's a punch in the gut that is just taking away one of the most important and largest markets that we've spent decades developing. How the U.S. China tensions escalated. The seeds of this trade war were planted when the United States and China began imposing tariffs on each other's goods in 2018. These tariffs were meant to protect each country's industries from foreign competition, but they also made it more expensive for the two countries to trade with each other. For agriculture, the consequences were swift and severe. China, facing increased prices for U.S. crops due to tariffs, quickly began looking for new suppliers to avoid the added costs. While the tariffs themselves were damaging, they represented only the beginning of the trade conflict. China's decision to stop buying U.S. soybeans and other agricultural goods was a powerful economic strategy designed to put pressure on American farmers and the U.S. economy. China knew that cutting off purchases from U.S. farmers could influence American politics, especially in rural areas where many people rely on farming for their livelihoods. China shifted to South America, where Brazil and Argentina have emerged as strong suppliers of soybeans and other crops. For years, these countries have been expanding their agricultural production, and the trade war has given them a golden opportunity. Brazilian farmers especially are ramping up production, clearing new lands, and investing in infrastructure to meet China's growing demands. China's focus on Brazil and Argentina has already caused a massive shift in the global soybean market. Since 2018, China has imported millions of tons of soybeans from Brazil, further reducing its purchases from the United States. This shift has turned Brazil into a new agricultural powerhouse, and its market share continues to grow. For American farmers, this development represents not just a temporary loss, but potentially a permanent change in global trade. Economic impact on American farmers. For farmers in the United States, the shift away from American soybeans and corn is causing major economic pain. With fewer customers buying U.S. crops, the prices of soybeans and corn have fallen, hurting farmers' profits. Lower prices mean that farmers have to sell more crops just to break even, and for many, this is simply not possible. According to experts, American soybean prices could fall by as much as $1 per bushel, while corn prices might drop by up to 13 cents per bushel. These decreases might seem small, but in the world of farming, every cent counts. This price drop could cost American soybean farmers up to $5.9 billion each year, with corn farmers losing nearly $1.4 billion. For farmers already struggling with the high costs of seeds, equipment, and labor, these losses could spell financial ruin. The ripple effects in rural America. The economic impact of these shifts extends beyond the farmers themselves, affecting entire rural communities. Farming is not just about growing crops. It's a way of life that sustains many towns and cities across the Midwest. When farmers lose income, they spend less money on local businesses, from equipment suppliers to grocery stores. This means that local economies suffer, and many small businesses face the risk of closure. Moreover, as farmland becomes less profitable, fewer young people choose to become farmers. Instead, they move to cities in search of better-paying jobs, leaving rural communities with aging populations and fewer resources. The decline of rural areas not only affects those who live there, but also weakens the country as a whole by reducing its agricultural workforce and its capacity to feed the population. Global competition intensifies, and the rise of Brazil. Brazil, which has emerged as a top competitor in the soybean market, has benefited greatly from China's pivot. Brazilian farmers, encouraged by high demand and attractive prices, have expanded their soybean fields rapidly. This expansion often involves clearing parts of the Amazon rainforest, which raises environmental concerns. However, for Brazilian farmers, the benefits of increased production outweigh these concerns, especially when the demand from China is so strong. With more land available for farming and a supportive government, Brazil is positioned to become the world's largest soybean exporter, surpassing the United States. This shift could cement Brazil's place in the global economy and reduce the United States' influence in agricultural trade. What could be done to help U.S. farmers? To counteract these changes, U.S. policymakers are exploring various strategies to support American farmers. One approach is to negotiate new trade deals with other countries, opening up new markets for American crops. By expanding trade relationships with countries in Europe, Asia, and Africa, the United States could reduce its dependence on China and create more opportunities for its farmers. Another potential solution is providing subsidies or financial aid to struggling farmers. Government programs can help farmers weather the current crisis, providing them with the funds needed to cover costs and stay in business. These programs can include direct payments, crop insurance, and other forms of financial support to ensure that American agriculture remains viable. Finally, investments in technology and sustainable farming practices could help American farmers reduce costs and increase productivity. By adopting new methods and innovations, farmers can become more competitive in the global market, even if demand from China continues to decline. What this means for global food security. The shift in China's trade policies doesn't just affect the United States. With the global population growing, the demand for food will continue to rise, and countries like Brazil and Argentina will need to keep up. However, if U.S. farmers are driven out of the market, the global food supply could become more concentrated in a few regions, making it vulnerable to disruptions like droughts, floods, and other natural disasters. A diversified food supply is crucial for global food security. When one country or region dominates the market, it creates risks for everyone. For example, if Brazil experiences a severe drought, it could affect food prices worldwide, especially if other countries are not able to compensate for the loss. By supporting American farmers and promoting balanced trade, the global community can help ensure that food supplies remain stable and affordable for all. The environmental cost of China's shift. While China's move to buy crops from South America has economic benefits, it also comes with environmental consequences. As Brazil and Argentina expand their farmlands, they often clear forests to make room for crops. This deforestation has severe environmental impacts, including loss of biodiversity, increased greenhouse gas emissions, and destruction of natural habitats. Deforestation in the Amazon rainforest, in particular, is a major concern. The Amazon plays a crucial role in regulating the Earth's climate by absorbing carbon dioxide. When forests are cut down, they release this stored carbon, contributing to global warming. For this reason, some environmental groups argue that China's shift away from U.S. crops is contributing to environmental degradation in South America. The future of American agriculture, and can it recover? The long-term future of American agriculture depends on several factors. If trade relations with China improve, U.S. farmers may be able to regain some of their lost market share. However, if the trade war continues, American farmers may need to adapt by finding new markets or shifting to different crops. Some farmers are already exploring alternative crops, such as hemp, which can be used in a variety of products, from textiles to health supplements. Others are focusing on organic farming, which appeals to consumers who are willing to pay higher prices for organic produce. By diversifying their crops and adapting to changing markets, American farmers can find new ways to thrive, even in a challenging global economy. The road ahead for American farmers. As the trade war between the United States and China continues, American farmers face an uncertain future. The shift in global trade has not only reduced demand for U.S. soybeans and corn, but has also weakened the very foundation of rural America. Yet, while the challenges are daunting, there is also hope. American farmers are resilient, and with the right support from policymakers, they can adapt to the changing landscape. By opening up new markets, providing financial assistance, and encouraging sustainable practices, the United States can help its farmers remain competitive. The goal is not just to preserve an industry, but to protect a way of life that has shaped the nation's identity for centuries. The battle for global agricultural dominance may be far from over, but one thing is certain. American farmers will not give up without a fight. What do you guys think? Can American farmers compete with other countries? Do you guys think the trade war actually work and help Americans? Please leave your comment below. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you for making it this far. If you like this video, you might want to share it with a like-minded friend. Thank you, and as always, stay blessed.